I changed the beginning a little bit. So what I'm going to say is not on the paper. Don't get confused. When I'm done with my introduction, I will be moving to the Ark of God part, okay? But the beginning will be the same, because I'll start with the World Cup story. World Cup 2018, Russia has started last Thursday, and for about a month, the best soccer nations of the world will be competing for the trophy of the World Cup tournament. And when you study the beginning of FIFA, you can find out that the modern soccer, started in England. And all the major soccer leagues were in England, in Great Britain. All the English people and the Irish and all those people, they were having different leagues, and most of the good players were English people. And it was spreading all over Europe, and other countries like France, Spain, those countries wanted to form an international league, right? But England, being so arrogant about it, they said, no, it is our game. We cannot be in the same league with you. So when the FIFA started, England was not part of it. And they joined it later because it was growing so quickly. And it got so large. It's so much larger than Great Britain or any other one nation. Now, this is the 21st World Cup, and I think there are about 200 member countries. Even North Korea is a member. Right? And all this is happening with England or without. So in our lives, in the history of mankind, we see this changing all the time. Those who are influential now, those who have the things, those who have all the resources, those who have the power, those who have wealth, do not have them all the time. Those who are in the top, they're not in the top all the time. It changes all the time. Someone else will go up. Someone else will move up. And we need to remember, in God's scheme of things, when God uses His people, when God calls His people, people change. It changes who God chooses. It changes who God uses. And I pray that we all will become those people like David, who God calls and uses. Amen? The main focus of today's passage is the Ark of the Lord, or Ark of the Covenant. And the Ark of God, or Ark of the Covenant, was lost to the Philistines in the time of the judge Eli. So it was a long, long time ago, because Saul reigned for 40 years. So it was even before then. And as they lost the battle, they lost the ark. Eli's 2 sons were killed, and when this news reached Eli, he fell back in his chair and broke his neck, and he died. But because of the plagues, the Philistines didn't keep the Ark of the Covenant for a long time. They sent the ark back after 7 months, and it stayed at Abinadab's household for the whole reign of Samuel and Saul. So for a long, long time, it was almost being forgotten. King Saul used the ark once in a battle and won the victory. But afterwards, he sent it right back. He was done using it, he sent it right back, and he never looked back. Saul had no respect for God. God chose him to be the king over his people. He knew it, and everybody knew it, that it was God who chose him. But he was only interested in pleasing the people and keeping his kingship. He disregarded God. He disobeyed God. And he even tried to offer the sacrifice himself. And this is what Samuel told him. You have rejected the word of the Lord, and the Lord has rejected you as king over Israel. Just like in world history, God chooses people to use, but God also deserts them. God also rejects them when they're not being useful, when they're no longer being obedient to him, when they're no longer living for him. So God let him go, and he was left to defend whatever was left for him, and he died defending, and his sons died also. Gaius Julius Caesar had a vision to reform the Roman Republic. It was crumbling because of all the corruption in the elite families. And he was doing well. He was expanding the boundaries of the republic, and he was putting down revolts everywhere. And he reformed the Senate. He enlarged it, to better represent the whole Roman population, not just the certain elite people. Rising through the ranks, he had many allies and rivals, but managed to outrun all of them. And one famous ally who turned rival was Pompey, and I'm sure you all know who Pompey is, right? Pompey 모르세요? 한국말로 뭐라 그러죠? 폼페이 아시네. And after defeating Pompey, he was made dictator for life. He was turning this republic into an empire, and he had all the military, political, and financial power of an empire. But this absolute power didn't last for a long time. Only a year later, he was assassinated by young senators, and one of them was Brutus, whom Caesar loved like a son. In Shakespeare's play, Julius Caesar, the play's name is Julius Caesar, and when Caesar is dying, he finds Brutus in the crowd of assassins who were, stabbing him with the knife, and he dies. Even you, Brutus. No, it was Latin, so et tu brute, or something like that. Et tu brute. And he died. Life is fragile. Even Caesar. When I learned this in a history class, and when I found this out, I was like so disappointed. He was such a powerful man. He was conquering everyone. He was expanding this empire. And he was such a genius. He was a general. He was a fighter. And he died in such an easy way. It's just, what, he didn't have a bodyguard or something? Why? But us, our life is more fragile. There are so many things in life that could go wrong and throw you off. Other people, whatever power or talent you have, is just a reed. When you try to lean on it, it will break. It won't support you when you need it. You may feel like you're invincible like Caesar, or maybe, you are the best of whatever you are doing. But even the smallest thing can knock us off of our balance. And everything that we're holding up will come crashing down. We need to always rely on God. We need to always ask for His help. And we need to always ask for His guidance. God told Jeremiah, my people have committed 2 sins. After punishing this nation, after wiping this nation off, after sending them to exile, after having this King Nebuchadnezzar come and wipe this country off, this is what God says. They have committed 2 sins. For these 2 reasons, God has punished them. And number 1, they have forsaken me. They have forsaken me. It's not such a complicated sin. It's not a sin like a homosexuality or other sexual sins, sexual immoralities. It was just deserting God, forsaking God. And number 2, have dug their own cisterns. They relied on something else, something other than God. We need to realize how serious sin it is to forsake God, to set Him aside, to look for something else, to go after something else. This is relying on something else. This is loving something more than God. This is idolatry. With King Saul, because he deserted God, his whole family was destroyed. Michal, however, because she chose to marry and stay loyal to David, was saved from the destruction of the whole family. Sadly, Michal did not embrace David's devotion and love for God wholeheartedly. Even though she was grafted to the tree of David, she was grafted from the tree of Saul to the tree of David, and she could begin a new life. She could become part of a great plan from God for humanity, but she refused to take root in that. David had the whole kingdom excited as the Ark of the Covenant or Ark of the Lord was coming into Jerusalem. They were anxious because 3 months ago someone died trying to hold the Ark in place. But also at the same time they were very anticipating God's presence to come and dwell with them in the city of Jerusalem. They wanted to welcome God. This was a welcome party. David was so excited that after the priests who were carrying the ark took 6 steps, not 60 steps, not 60 meters, 6 steps. 1, 2, 3. Whoa, slow. Go slow. 4, 5. Because 3 months ago someone died. This is their first time. Nobody knew how to carry this Ark of God. Nobody knew how to bring this Ark of God into their presence. Okay? And this is their first time. David did some homework. He went through the book of Deuteronomy and all these laws about serving God, and they found out it was supposed to be carried. And they were carrying it. Okay, 4 steps. 5, 6. Wait. Oh, it's working. Right? And as they bring the cow. He kills it and they offer up the sacrifice. After 6 steps. Okay, hold it right there. He was so excited. And David had such a joy that he danced in front of other people as a king. As a king. Have you felt a little embarrassed when our emeritus pastor, 우리 원로 목사님이, when he would do some dances or 뭐 점프를 하신다든지 Have you felt a little embarrassed? 안 그래요? 재밌어요? 목사님이 막 앞에서 막 이렇게 춤추시고 막 이러면 조금 얼굴 빨개지고 그러지 않나요? No? You got used to it. You got used to it? But he was the king. The king. But he didn't care. He danced before other people. And it happened that because of what he was wearing, because he danced, freely, people could see his legs. Right? 여러분 제가 이렇게 다리 들어서 다리가 좀 보면 얼마나 창피하겠어요. 그렇죠? 해볼까요? So it was a celebration, and the whole city was invited to the party, and David handed out food to them, the party food, the good ones, the ones that they couldn't taste before, the loaf of bread and cakes of dates and raisins to everybody. Everyone was out, everyone was enjoying and celebrating this great day. The Ark of the Covenant, Ark of God, was coming in to the city of Jerusalem. Everyone, that is, except Michal. At the peak of the celebration, when the ark was entering the city of David, where was Michal? She was looking down from a window in the comfort of her home. This is a bad sign. Where she was at this very important moment, this place where she was in her relationship with God. Even if her dead father Saul, King Saul, were to come alive and enter the city, she would have gotten up and personally welcomed him. 내려가서 아버지 오셨어요. The ark represents the presence of God. It represents the worship and fellowship of God. It was like God was coming into her household and she's just sitting there watching through the window. Let's see what happens. That is a bad sign. Michal didn't care. She had no regard for the God of Israel, just like her father. It is really important where you find yourself at important times, like Sunday mornings, or Sunday nights, or Saturday mornings. Where are you? When other Christians gather together to worship God, when other Christians get up early in the morning to pray to God, where are you? We should never find ourselves outside of this worshiping crowd. We should never find ourselves like Michal, outside of this crowd of worshipers. We should always belong to this group who are worshiping God, who are loving God, who are following God, who are glorifying God. Amen?
Amen.
Don't stay in your room and look out the window. Get out there. Be in the crowd and worship God together. Don't be a spectator. Don't be an audience in a worship. We worship for the audience of one. We play all this music and the choir, and we have special musics and all that, not for us, but for Him. For Him. For Him. Never forget that. It's not about me, it's not about you, it's about Him. You shouldn't be audiences here. 구경하러 앉아 계시면 안 돼요. You should be worshipers. You should be worshipers. 요 앞에서 잘하네. 오늘 노래 좋네. 오늘 노래 좀 잘 모르겠네. 오늘 노래 왜 이렇게 크게 해? 왜 여자 소리 하나가 안 들려? 에? 뭐라 그러는 거야? No. We should be part of it. It should be my worship. It should be my song. Praising God, lifting up. When Stephen Curry, when he makes the goal, he goes, who is he pointing to? He's pointing to God. Lord, I owe it to you. I do it for you. It's for your glory. You're the best. 멋있잖아요. And Neymar, when his team wins championship or something, he wears this headband. It says what? What does it say? 네이마르 모르세요? 네이마르 모르세요? 네이마르를 모르다니. I think he is currently the highest paying, he is being paid the highest salary. His contract is the highest value of highest value. Anyway, it says 100% Jesus. 100% Jesus. Not just this. This is cool too, but 100% Jesus. And this is not just something that he just came up with like a year ago or so. He did it from when he was very young. You could find pictures when he's very young, he's wearing 100% Jesus. The headband, 100% Jesus. We worship God. We worship God not just here, everywhere we go. We worship God. We live for Him. It's not about me. We don't complain about our lives. We don't complain for the things that I don't have. We don't complain for the things, oh Lord, I want this, but how come He has it and I don't have it? We don't complain about those things because it's not about me. My life is not about me. My life is for Him. For His glory. We lift Him up high. For His glory. Yeah. Lord, it's you. So when we gather together to worship God, we should not even think about us. We should not even think about my condition. Oh, I'm tired today. Oh, this is hot in here today. Oh, this is cold in here today. 왜 이렇게 세게 틀어놨어? We shouldn't even think about ourselves. Just focus on God. Focus on God. Let's be worshipers. Don't come to worship to watch other people. Don't come to worship to receive. Come to worship to participate in worshiping God. Let the songs be your songs. Give everything you've got. Give your all. Give all your heart and all your soul. Give all your strength. Be a worshiper. Let it be your worship. I have a lot more to go, but I'm running out of time. So I will just wrap it up here. We see in the history of the making of this nation of Israel. God using people to represent his people. God using people to rule over his people. First he chose Eli, then he chose Samuel, then he chose King Saul, then he chose King David. And there's a pattern here. When God chooses people, he chooses people who will glorify him, who will not live for themselves, but for God. But along the way, people change. And instead of glorifying God, they start to live for themselves. They start to ask the question, what about me? What about me? And when David came back from all that celebration and came into the house, Michal goes out to meet him and criticizes him for dancing in front of people and revealing his legs, bare legs. And she mocked him for dancing and humiliating himself before the servant girls. To which David replies, "It was before the Lord who chose me rather than your father or anyone from his house when he appointed me ruler over the Lord's people, Israel. I will celebrate before the Lord."
Amen.
She should have known. Michal should have known it was her father. She should have known how her father changed and how God has deserted her father, but has chosen David over her father. She should have known why. She should have known the difference between her household and David's household. David's heart was after God. He loved the Lord. He loved to worship God. He loved to be with God. That's why he's bringing this ark, even risking death. His heart was wholly, completely after God. That is why God rejected Saul, but loved David. But even being crafted into this tree, instead of assimilating herself to this new family, worshiping God and loving God, she stayed as she was. 요만큼도 안 바뀌는 거예요. 새 집에 왔는데 하나님 정말 사랑하고 하나님께서 선택하신 너무 좋은 가정, 하나님 예배하는 가정, 하나님 영광 위해서 사는 가정에 왔는데 요만큼도 안 바뀌는 거예요. 그대로 있는 거예요. 하나님 무시하는 그 삶 그대로 사는 거예요. 그리고 다윗 왕마저 뭐라고 그러는 거예요. 그게 뭡니까 왕이? So the scripture says, the end of this chapter says, and Michal, daughter of Saul, had no children to the day of her death. 죽을 때까지 애가 없었다라는 거예요. Meaning, God rejected her. No, you cannot be part of this family. 이게 새로 뜯어가지고 너무 좋은 나무에 갖다 붙여줬지만 이게 안 붙는 거예요. 붙기 싫어하는 거예요. 그럼 어떻게 되겠어요? 그냥 마르는 거지. She was engrafted to this wonderful family, but she withered. She dried up. Nothing came forth from her branch. We should be worshiping people. We should live to worship God. We should live to please God. We should live to glorify God. Just like what our senior pastor said today, WWPG. What is WWPG? What would?
God praise.
No, please God. What would please God? Ask that question. What will please God? What should I do here? How should I worship you, Lord, here? How should I glorify you, Lord, here? And you might come up with something like this, or something like 100% Jesus, or whatever. Glorify God with your life and see what God does through your life. Amen. David could never have dreamed of becoming a king. He just loved the Lord. But look where God led him. Into Jerusalem as the king over Israel. When you live for God's glory, when you live a life asking the question WWPG, then God will use you.
Amen.
In ways that you cannot even imagine. Let's live a worshiping life. Let's live for God's glory. Amen. Let us pray.